Hello, hello, hello. It's Sarah Pritchard, Confidence Coach for Women, and I know that I am running late. I'm sorry. I went out with some friends from college, and we started like a half an hour late, so my timing is a little bit thrown off. But whatever, I'm here. If you're catching a replay, hey, thank you for showing up. I hope that you enjoy it. I know I've had a beautiful day. I hope that you've had a beautiful day. If there's anybody that's new watching my live for the first time or watching this on YouTube for the first time, as Tara Pritchard, Confidence Coach for Women, I love, love, love coaching and working with women who feel like they're in a space where they want to heal, evolve, and grow so that they can manifest the life and love that they desire and that they deserve. And you know what? I forgot. Because I have pink on and because this is pink, my color likes to go in and out, which is so annoying. But anyway, our topic of discussion, since this is 4th of July time in the U.S., is getting freed up, right? So on the radio, the song that is hot for this year is what? Boot Up, Boot Up. If you've never heard Boot Up, then you're probably living under a rock, right? It's by LMA. If you don't know who that is, go look it up, right? It's Boot Up, feelings, right? That's all I keep hearing everywhere I go. I just got out of the car. What was on Boot Up? I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm sick of it, right? Because Boot Up just keeps coming up all the time. However, I recently gave a survey and I asked women simply, what are you struggling with? And I've also asked women, what do you want to unleash, right? And as I'm going through all of the responses, what I'm finding is that a lot of you feel like you're not operating at 100% or 110%. Really, you're not operating at the optimal level as the woman that you were called to be, as the woman that God created you to be. A lot of women are feeling like they're operating at 50 or 60 or 70 or 80%, right? And then a lot of women indicated to me that they don't have a set self-care time or routine. They simply do it when they can, right? They say they click the button, I fit it in when I can, right? So that's telling me that a lot of women out there are not taking time for themselves. And then I just wrote down some things that people are struggling with and just some things that women want to unleash. And a lot of women want to unleash, their inner confidence and, not hesitating. A lot of women want to stop procrastinating. But something that keeps coming up a lot, just through conversation with women, but also when it comes to me being on the phone with women, on the survey, and then y'all know I just wrote the post on Nicki Minaj. But what's coming up is this whole idea of emotions, right? We don't know how to handle our emotions, right? And when I made my first coaching program back in 2016, I created it with the notion and with the rule of thumb that if you can master as a woman your emotions and your energy, you can live the life that you desire. If you struggle to handle your emotions and you struggle and you don't recognize that you are the captain of this ship, right? And that you create your life and that the energy in which you are expending out is what you're getting back, what you emit is what you're going to get back. If you do not take full responsibility and ownership of emotions and your energy, then you're always going to struggle. You're always going to procrastinate. You're always going to feel like you're not going to achieve things or like you're lacking something or like you're doing too much or like things just are not right, like you're not moving quick enough if you do not know how to handle your emotions and your energy. And furthermore, when setbacks pop up, they're going to set you back instead of allowing it to set you up for your next big thing, right? Because you don't know how to handle that one bad day that you have. You don't know how to handle, when the anxiety pops up. You don't know how to handle when, I don't know, your coworker says X, Y, and Z to you. You don't know how to handle those things, so it just throws you all off. And that is a problem. And that's why this particular live is going to be about getting freed up, right? And again, that's a play on words from boot up, because everybody wants to be boot up. But who knows? How many people know? You can be boot up all day. You can be moneyed up all day. We know that a lot of people who have a lot of money are taking their own lives, right? They are committing suicide or they're really not happy, right? Because just because you have money does not mean that you're going to be happy and living a good life. Just because you boot up don't mean you're going to be happy and having a good life. And how many of us know that no matter how much money you have, no matter how much love you think somebody else is giving you, if you yourself are not free on the inside, it doesn't matter the materialistic external things that are occurring outside of yourself, right? That's why this week I shared with you, and it was on my mind for a couple of days after I watched the Nicki Minaj performance on BET, just how inauthentic she was. And I was uncomfortable watching. And when I tell you I love rap music, like I love it. Like I love it. I absolutely love female rappers. If I can be a female rapper, I would be. I just love it. I absolutely love it. Don't ask me why. I do not know. So when I see a female rapper perform, I get excited and I want to watch. I'm like, okay. Because I just love how empowering they are in their sexuality and who they are and what they do. But Nicki just took it to a whole nother level, right? And people argue back and forth. I don't know if you saw her performance on the BET Awards 2018. But other people obviously felt the same way as me. Except they didn't just share it. They actually told her and she snapped, right? I've been reading the articles lately where she has said, you're mad and you're saying stuff about me because you're not rich. Girl, bye. Really? That's how I know that she needs to get freed up. Okay. If that's why you think people are mad, like mad to the point where they are sending the people death threats, like that type of mad, over Nicki Minaj. And because they said all they said was Nicki is approaching 40 and perhaps she should consider doing more mature content, right? And I guess that threw her over the edge, right? Because when you start throwing in ages and maturity, people get mad. But based on Nicki's response and other people's responses that I saw, I recognized that there's a lot of freed up that needs to go on. And if you think that somebody is mad at you and making that constructive criticism because they're not rich like you, you've obviously missed the entire point of what you're saying and what you're doing, right? And I used to root for Nicki a long time ago. I just saw a research study I did on her first album. I found it yesterday on an old flash drive, right? And I did a whole presentation. I analyzed every song, every lyric. I did a whole thing on how she's redefining the industry. And now that was like 8 years ago. And now it's like, I might have to throw that out the door. I stood up in front of these people and told them all this, and what are you doing? So I'm like that obsessed with hip hop, right? And I said in my email that if I wasn't a confidence coach, if I wasn't an English teacher, I would be a hip hop journalist, and I would be writing articles. I would be analyzing albums. I would be watching like shows that are just hip hop and all that kind of stuff. Like that's my thing. That's my other thing, low key. But I brought all of that up, right? Because what I learned from Nicki Minaj's response to the constructive criticism is a lesson we all can take, because we all receive criticism from time to time about certain things. And ain't nobody perfect. I'm not perfect, honey. Okay, trust me, I'm not. Girl, me being on time, you obviously see. Yeah, I'm working on it. But anyway, I bring that up because the fact that she said you're mad at me, B, because you're not rich, that tells me that you're missing a very key and essential piece about what it means to really be a woman who's beautiful, who's radiant, who's in her calling, right? And who's really fulfilling her mission. If you were fulfilling your mission up into, what God has called you to do, you wouldn't need to do all that. Because a woman who is actually free, from the inside out, knows that she has to be enriched mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, especially emotionally, in order for you to glow and to radiate on the outside any damn way. So you telling a woman that, oh, you just mad because I'm rich, girl, no amount of money is going to do anything, because you're just, how are you any different from us? You might have a little bit more coin, but besides that, you're still a human. You still got to go through this journey. You had to break up with Meek Mills. You cried like us. You still got to eat everything. You're just a woman like everybody else. And until she understands that she is going to suffer, her career is going to eventually begin to suffer because of her inauthenticity, right? Being authentic and being unapologetic, that's what really it means to be free, right? And it's really about you letting go and unleashing that peace, right, that we get in the Bible that surpasses all understanding. But how can we get there? Like I said, so many women are coming to me, or they're saying they're following me because they are emotionally, they just don't know how to handle that. So I want to teach you an acronym. Y'all know I like my acronyms, with the word free, that can help you start to let go of some of the stuff that we hold on to and not be so stuck into it, because so many of us are stuck in perfection, right? We want to be perfect. We're trying to live up to a standard. So many of us are doubting ourselves. So many of us are ashamed about things. We are afraid of things. And shout out to those women who did email me the things that they're ashamed, that they've been ashamed of, right? I share with you a part of myself that I was ashamed about for a while. And you guys responded. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you receiving that. And I appreciate you for sharing that back to me. Or even if you went and you journaled, maybe you didn't share it with me, but you journaled about it. Shout out to you, right? Because that takes a lot of courage to do, but it also allows you to be free at the same time, right? So my acronym for getting freed up and letting go, let's start with the F in free. And the F I came up with is to forget everything that you already believe. Like, what? Yes, the F, in order for you to be free, forget everything that you believe. Why? Because everything I do, every video I do, every program I do, every challenge I do, if somebody comes to me and they're struggling, the first thing I start with is mindset, right? And I say it over and over again. That's never, ever going to change, because unless you change something up here, the rest of this shit ain't changing. Like I was saying with Nicki Minaj, until she has a breakthrough about her inauthenticity, she's not going to change. Just like the singer K. Michelle, I'm sure you've heard of her. She got the plastic butt implants, right? And she recently took them out. I don't know if it's been a year, but she had it and she thought she was cute. She thought she was looking good. And then she had a breakthrough. She had a revelation that this is inauthentic, that that's not who I am, that that's not the right thing that's for me, right? And I'm trying to fit into perfection. I'm trying to fit into a standard. I'm trying to be like other women, and I'm trying to uphold the image. But here's the issue. The reason why we don't feel free is because when you're trying to live up to an image, everywhere you go, your representative has to be on point. So if you came into your job and you're acting one way, you got to keep that up. I was talking to a client the other day, someone I had talked to a year ago, and then she had came back and she had signed up to work with me. And one thing I love that she said, even though it's probably not the most self-loving thing, was that when she got married, that she put the representative out there and he loved it and he caught on to it and she had to keep it up. But once they got married, she realized she couldn't keep it up. It was inauthentic. She couldn't keep up with the hairdos or acting like she wanted to do all the stuff she wanted to do, because what was she doing? Trying to please, right? Trying to fit into what she thought his perfect model was. And eventually the marriage did crumble, and she had to move forward, and he moved forward and he moved with someone else. And she was still bitter from it and jealous and resentful and angry. But I love that she was able to recognize that I put up a facade, right? My representative was the one that was in front of him, my inauthentic self, right? But instead, the real me, I procrastinate, I show up late, right? You don't have to be perfect to have a man. You don't have to be perfect to start your business. You don't got to be perfect to make money. You don't have to be perfect, in order to be loved, in order to be worthy, right? In order to be secure, in order to believe in yourself. You don't got to be perfect. You do not. Let me tell you, because I'm all the way imperfect, honey. And I believe in myself to like the 20th thousand power, okay? And I definitely am imperfect all the way, all up and down. But I think so often we get caught up in that. So that's why the F in free is what? Forget what you believe. Because so often we believe, oh my God, I got to do this in order to get this kind of man. Or I have to do this. Like, I can't start my business. I was talking to somebody. I was out with one of my business friends. And I was like, oh, like, are you selling an ebook? And she was like, oh, no, I'm not selling it. I don't have a website, right? And me and my other friend was like, you don't need a website for that, right? So I think we kind of put certain beliefs in our mind. We're like, girl, you can have it sent through email. You can have it sent through this way. You don't need a website to sell no product, sell no book. There are a lot of people that make 6, 7, and 8 figures and they don't got no website. Let me tell you. They don't got no website at all, right? They be selling right from Instagram, right from Periscope, or they sell in other ways, right? So I think a lot of times the beliefs that we hold, that's really the thing that holds us hostage. And that's also the reason why our emotions, we can't seem to control them, or we're getting angry, or we're getting depressed, or we're getting afraid, or we're getting, we're just disconnected from inside of here because we're so focused on the external. And you need to forget whatever it is that you're believing that is not allowing you to feel free, that is not allowing you to be at peace. That means you need to shift your beliefs. That means you need to change them. And it's as simple as changing one thing to another thing. Instead of thinking, girl, right? You might be thinking for years, I'm not even worthy of being with that type of man. It's just simply a shift. Thinking, look, I'm worthy of that. Right? I am so worthy of that. I am so deserving. And that's why the repetition of even saying it and writing it or drawing it or painting it or, putting it somewhere where you see it over and over again until it shifts, right? Until it shifts. Repetition over and over again. I'm worthy. I'm worthy. I'm worthy. I'm worthy. I got a Cardi B song in my head. It ain't I'm worthy now. I'm worthy. I'm worthy, right? Over and over and over again until you get the shift. And you'll have the shift. You can say, God, I need a breakthrough. Lord, I need a breakthrough. I need a shift in my beliefs. Allow me to believe what you want me to believe, Lord. Allow me to get a breakthrough. Shift my mindset, right? I had a breakthrough about a week ago. Changed my whole... I swear, after that breakthrough, somebody contacted me. And I was like thinking before, I was like, oh, I have to go back and forth with them. After I had that breakthrough, I was like, I don't even care. I'm not even responding. I responded once. I'm not going back and forth with you. I don't even care no more. Right? Because it was a shift, right? But it was a divine shift that can only come from here to here. It's something I couldn't do on my own, even if I was trying to make that happen. Thank you for that. So again, the F in getting freed up is forget what you believe. Because 9 times out of 10, the ish that you believe is really what's holding you back. And you don't even know sometimes. Which brings me up to the R in free, which is release things that no longer serve you. If there is a person in your life and they are holding you back, cut it, right? I was just out with my best friend from college and he was saying that now that someone no longer works at his job, that he said it just hit me that I had the best year at my job this year. Like I elevated, I got a promotion, I did this and that. And I didn't even realize how much that other person's negativity, how that really kind of made me play small a little bit more because I didn't want to outshine that person. And now that person's not there, he was showing me like his text messages, which he's basically like trying to throw shade in a text. To say like, oh, well, congrats on your new thing, but, wish I could be there, right? Throwing shade. So it's the negativity. And I think sometimes we don't even realize it. So sometimes us being not free is also who we have around us and the energy that's around us, right? If you work in an office with all people that are stuffy or they all have an attitude, what's going to happen, right? So it's letting go of things that no longer serve you, whether that's beliefs, whether it's people, whether it's habits, whether it's things that are and items that are in your home. It's releasing what no longer serves you. And it's also releasing agreements. Listen to this. Releasing agreements that you've made. And this goes back to forget what you believe. So, when we are born, we're a blank slate. Right? You're a blank slate. But over time, your parents, your upbringing, your life experiences, it starts adding to that slate, right? Which starts to build up those beliefs. And sometimes some of the beliefs you don't necessarily set out for yourself. But when you hear something so many times or you see it so many times, you make an agreement in your unconscious mind that's how relationships work. That's how money works, right? And if mama's struggling and poor, you might think, I gotta be struggling. I gotta be poor. You just make stuff up in the back of your mindset. And then you fast forward 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and you're like, damn, I'm still struggling with this money. What's going on? Damn, I'm still struggling with relationships. I just don't understand, man. Damn, I'm still struggling with my weight. Like, why do I keep eating these cookies? Like, what is wrong with me? And it's not what's wrong with you. It's more so what agreements have you made, right? That's why we have books like the 4 Agreements, right? I just started reading that the other day because I'm now in a book club for this summer. And I was like, that's an aha moment. The agreements that we're making, sometimes we make unspoken agreements with our parents from when we're younger, that we're going to wait till marriage to have sex, or, that we are going to always have that good paying job, even if we want to be an entrepreneur. But it's that unspoken agreement. Like, people in my family don't do this. People in my family don't do that. So I couldn't possibly step out of my comfort zone because that's not what we normally do. We make agreements. So I want you to start reflecting over the next couple of days. What are some agreements you've made? Right, over time that maybe have come from yourself making that agreement, or maybe you heard that agreement from a parent or a guardian or someone else, maybe when you were younger. So many people told you time, oh, you're ugly, or you're fat, or you're this. And at what point did you agree with that? Because you always have the ability to unagree, honey, and be like, oh, I disagree. why I say unagree, I'm slow. To disagree with it. You always have an opportunity. You always have a chance to disagree with that thing. So I want you to start thinking about, right? What agreements have I made that I need to release that no longer serve me? Think about agreements that you might have made consciously or even unspoken agreements with your parents. It could have even been one like you'll never ever move away, but you know it's an opportunity out in California or New York. But you had an unspoken agreement. I would never move and leave my family, but you can feel God pulling you somewhere. But you have that agreement. So then when you come to me and we get on the phone, you're like, oh, I'm stuck or I'm procrastinating. Or it could be your mindset. Or it could be an old agreement and it just needs to be broken and severed so that you can move forward. It needs to be binded up and it needs to be released and go somewhere else so that you can loosen, you can bring something new into your life and into the fold of who you are and in your life. So again, the F is forget what you believe if you want to be free. And the R is to release what no longer serves you and let go of old agreements that you had made about yourself and about life. And over time, you'll get revelations and breakthroughs about these things. And if you need help with that, say, God, reveal to me what agreements that I might have unconsciously made that are causing me to be here and where I am. Right? If there's an area you're constantly stuck in, constantly Sorry, I like hear somebody else out my window. I'm like, what the heck are they doing? Okay. But yeah, so think about that. What are some of those agreements? And then we're going to get to the E. So once you have forgot everything you believed already, because it's probably time to reset or replace, you release some of the old things and old agreements, then it's time for my first E, which is to explain your why, right? So often we want to be free and we want to be happy and we want to be loved and we want to be walking in our calling and we want money. We want to move to a new place. We want this. We want that. We want to be married. We want kids. We want our marriage to work out. We want to know what, why. Explain your why. The easiest way for you to be free is to know your why. When you know why you're doing something, for example, a lot of women come to me and say they're stuck in their business or they're not making money, right? That's because you're not hungry enough for it. Because I used to be in that place. And it's because I'm already working, so I'm already getting paid anyway. So whether I do what I'm supposed to or not, it don't matter. I'm still going to get paid, right? But I didn't really have a clear why as to why I wanted to do it. So I didn't put all of my effort in. I definitely lacked the consistency, right? That was necessary to really see my business flourish in a way that it does now. So that's why it's important to explain your why, because your why gives you clarity. Right? If I know why I'm showing up right here on this live, gives me clarity. When you have clarity, you have peace. When you have peace, you are free. Right? So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. So explain your why and also determine what it is that you really actually want, right? And I shared on my last live that when you're setting goals and trying to figure out what you want, don't just write down, I want to lose 60 pounds. Don't just say I want a husband. Don't just say that I want a baby. Don't just say I want to be a coach. No, you need to not only know why you want that thing, because again, that leads to clarity, which leads to peace, which ultimately allows you to be free, but it also allows you to get into alignment with that thing, right? It allows you to get in alignment. What goes into my last E, which is to elevate to your higher self if you want to be free. And we'll get to that in a second. But like I said, explain your why and say what it is that you really want. But don't just say the goal. Say how you want to feel when you're actually achieving that goal, right? That's how things come into alignment. Things come into alignment when what you want, right, is on the same wavelength as that thing, right? And I mentioned that in my last live. If you did not get to watch it, please make sure you go back. It was 4 steps to manifest your dream life. So you got to know, how do you want to feel? Feelings go back to what emotions. That's why I mentioned at the start of this, if you cannot master your emotions or your energy, you are going to struggle through this lifetime. You're going to struggle through this lifetime. So it is crucial. It is critical that you learn how to master your emotions. I'm working on a new project in which I will have the opportunity to teach you about emotional wholeness and about, really getting your emotions and your energy in check. So I'm working on that behind the scenes. I'm very excited about it. I'm still trying to figure out the formatting. I don't know if it's going to be a class. I don't know if it's going to be a program, but it just kind of keeps coming to me over and over again. So I know how much people want and women want to work through when it comes to their emotions. So I know it's critical. And I also know it's key to manifesting things, to overcoming things, to healing. If you don't know how to master those emotions, girl, you're going to struggle. Struggle city, okay? And then lastly, let's get to the last E in free. How to get freed up is to elevate to your higher self. So I believe I mentioned this in the last live as well. And I mentioned there's a higher self and that there's a lower self. And your lower self vibrates at a very low level. I believe that's the last time. And your higher self, that's when we say I'm only operating at 70% of who God called me to be, but I need to be at 100%. That's that 100% will be at that higher self, right? So that's an elevated position, right? That's you when you're actually on your self-care. That's you when you're actually being consistent. That's you when you're actually walking in purpose. And when you're elevated and you're connected to your higher self, it's almost like you have a divine guide that's constantly with you and guiding you along this journey. But that requires intuition. That requires you to kind of really tap into the divine, which will be God, right? But in order to do that, you got to be free. If you don't forget what you believe already, if you are holding on to things that no longer serve you, like you holding on to a little piece of man because just so you can have a part of a man, or you're holding on to the last couple dollars, you don't want to invest in yourself because you're like, well, I don't know if I should pay her that. I don't know. Again, you're holding on to things that no longer serve you. It's very difficult for you to get divine downloads. It's very difficult for you to have clarity. It's very difficult for you to muster up the courage to do something. It's very difficult for you to walk in and be like, oh, I believe in myself, honey. I'm confident. When you are connected to your lower self and not elevated to your highest self, right? And again, in order to get to your highest self, that means that you have to constantly be feeding yourself and tending to your own garden, right? The grass is always greener where it is being tended to. So we can compare all day. Oh, look at her man. They always have a happy family. She's always out doing this and that. Okay, again, the grass is always greener where it's being tended to. You will connect to your higher self on a deeper level. You will get intuitive hunches. You will get divine downloads from God. You will have clarity to say, okay, I'm going to do this next in my business, okay? Or, I need to go talk to my man right now. You can even start feeling your man if you get to that level when he's not even in the room, if you're that intuitively deep, that serious. Because you are that tuned in. And in order to get tuned in, that means you got to be vibrating at a very high level. That means that consistency is key on this journey to being free, right? That means doing your affirmations. That means drinking your green smoothies. That means moving your body. That means surrounding yourself by people who lift up your vibration. That means listening to, learning from, sitting at the feet of other women who've been there, done that, and now they're teaching you so that you're growing and you're healing and you're evolving. And once you begin that process, no matter what stage in life that you hit, whether it's an amazing, abundant season of reaping or it's a season of sowing seeds and growing, it doesn't matter. You will be at peace with yourself. And once you've mastered peace, you won't be in a whole bunch of pieces. And also remember that you can be a masterpiece while also still being a work in progress at the same time, right? No one's asking for perfection. You don't have to be perfect to feel free, right? And when you feel free, you feel happy. You feel like, right? Like you can just exhale. You don't got to wait to exhale like Whitney and Loretta in the movie, right? You can just exhale because you're already free and you already have released and you've already let go, which opens you up to new blessings to flow in, which opens you up to a new boo to come in, or for your relationship to elevate to a new level, right? How many of us know that when we elevate to the next level, that our relationships, either people are going to fall away, right? Or they're going to rise to the occasion, right? And your relationships are going to deepen and strengthen, or new opportunities are going to present themselves. Because when you're vibrating so high, when your magnetism is so high, when you're connecting with your higher self, when you and God are like this, because y'all been connecting every day, y'all been busting it up, talking, having a good time, life is so much easier. You feel so much more free. And then when you walk in a room, when I walk in, God walks in, honey. Okay, I was telling myself that yesterday. I was just going on and on, girl, on and on. After I did my affirmation yesterday, I was just hype. I was just like hype. Like, I'm worthy, I'm this, I'm that. Like, I get hype, okay? And I was just like, you know what? When I walk in, God walks in. And I was thinking that because I got an invite somewhere. And in the past, when I would go, I will always be a little like, I don't really know if I should go, because I think at the time I didn't think I was worthy to be in the room, right? And I thought, okay, I'm not enough of this. I'm not enough of that. I don't really know. I'm not really popular like them. I'm not really, fashionable like them. Like, I just would come up with all kinds of things in the back of my mind. That was years ago. But now I'm like, child, when I walk in, God walks in, right? Half the people in there don't got nothing on me. Because it's not about the outside, it's about the inside, right? You can walk in somewhere and be leading with your inside. If you have a healing spirit or a beautiful spirit or a radiance that comes from the inside out, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what size you are. It doesn't matter what your past looks like, right? A lot of those other things don't even matter, because if you learn to lead internally and learn how to become inner rich, then when you go out, you'll be blessing others with riches everywhere you go. You'll be rich in love and rich in spirit and rich in abundance, and you'll be rich in strength and success and love and in power. And I'd rather be inner rich any day than like a girl, Nicki Minaj, saying, oh, you mad at me because I'm rich. I'm probably not mad at you because you have more money than me, because at the end of the day, you're not being authentic. So that means at the end of the day, I know you're not free, which means I know you're not happy at the end of the day. You might act like you're happy, but even when the camera will go to her in the audience and Jamie Foxx will talk to her, clearly there was an internal disconnect. If you go back, and I wish I could show you right now, show you, like, go to it and come back. She was very uncomfortable, was unsure, about how to act and interact, and it was just very odd, right? And it's very odd because internally she didn't know how to handle it. She didn't know. Also, a lot of her critics and her competitors were around. Nicki Minaj hasn't had competitors for a minute. And now you got Remy out here. Now Little Kim's like, because you did steal some of her stuff. Then you got Cardi B just came in and won Female Hip Hop Artist of the Year. Nicki, you was winning year after year after year because you didn't have that competition. And here's the thing. So often we get comfortable because we think that we're on top. Even once you rise up to that next level, you think, oh, I'm on top, nothing can come against me. And then when something new does show up, what happens? If you don't have the inner foundation, it's going to knock you off. It's going to be a setback. And that's what I felt like Nicki had. It was a whole setback she could not handle. And that's why I think she went off on the fans who, like myself or like others, who have things to say about her after. Not because I don't love you. I'm saying it because I do love you. I'm saying it because I know what's going on. I'm saying it because you can hire me to be a coach if you need somebody, Nicki, okay? Because I understand what's going on. The inauthenticity, the lack of, the perfectionism and all that, the unworthiness, the I can't handle competitionness, that ain't the look, boo. It's just not the look, right? And here's what I want. I want everyone to get booed up, moneyed up. I want everybody to glow up. I want everybody to simply be freed up. So my hope is that you can use these 4 different tips I gave you. FREE is the acronym, FREE. F, forget what you believe. Also, forget what you heard. Because you need to now redefine what's going to be new for you going forward. Then the R is to release what no longer serves you. And that includes old agreements that you have made. That includes toxic ties you have connected with. That includes soul ties. Break that shit off. Break it off. That's a whole different video. I know I have one on the old one. The E is to explain your why and define what it is that you really do want, especially how you want to feel. If you want to feel free, you want to feel fearless, you want to feel focused. Because so many women are coming to me, I'm procrastinating, I'm not moving forward, I'm stuck. What is your focus? Once you know your focus, also focus on your why. Why do you want that new job? Why do you want that husband? Why do you want this relationship to work out? Why? Why? What is your why? How do you want to feel? And then last E is elevate to your higher self so that you can vibe at a whole new level. Once you shift your vibe, things work out. I had met a lady last fall. We had went to the speakers workshop together. And we had connected. And then we wanted to kind of get on the phone since then. And we didn't. Every time we would miss each other. Then the one time we got on the phone together, it was like alignment 24/7. It was like alignment, like ding, 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 ding. And she said, you know what? If this happened months ago, we wouldn't have been ready. And I was like, what? And she was saying, as comfortable as we feel, and we just start talking about so many things, especially from the spiritual level. And so many conversations I can't have with just any old body. Like, I can't just go to my mama and be like, okay, well, blah, 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 or go to certain friends, blah, 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 because they just not at that level. But she simply was like, you know what, we're vibing at the same level, and you get me, because the stuff I'm talking about, you don't think that I'm weird or crazy or scary or whatever. She was like, we're in alignment, right? That's what it means to elevate to your higher self. Like I said, new people will show up in your life. I told you before how I pretty much feel like I manifested this woman to come pray for me while I was grading papers one day. I think I told y'all this a while ago. Like, things will show up and show out when you realize that I am accountable for this life. I create this life. And whether I feel free or whether I feel shackled, that's up to me. That is simply up to me. Whether I feel defeated or whether I feel determined, that's up to me. Whether you feel like you're accomplishing something or you're failing, you choose the perspective. You have the vision. You have the mindset. So you got to learn how to set new beliefs, make new agreements, connect to things that are higher. Again, if in your friendship circle, if you are the smartest, prettiest, best one, you're in the wrong group. Surround yourself and your life and around people, places, and things and experiences that elevate you to your next level. It's going to be uncomfortable at first, but you're going to see how it begins to mold you and to shape you and to position you for the thing that you really desire. And here's the thing. It's not even just the things that you desire, because we can desire a lot of things. We desire a lot of things, but sometimes we don't feel worthy of those things. So that's an agreement that you've made, that you might have made an agreement unconsciously that I desire to have a man, but I'm really not worthy of it because of X, Y, and Z. That's something you got to confront. You cannot change what you don't confront. You cannot fix what you're not going to come face to face with. And you know that you're maturing and you're growing as a woman when you can check yourself. You can course correct yourself. You can change those things that you can change, but you don't have to accept those things which you cannot. And you learn to love those things and embrace those things. That's how you get freed up. Right? That's how you get freed up. All right. So my hope is that you have enjoyed our time together today. I am announcing that a lot of people have been coming to me the last 2 weeks, and they have been requesting a service that I really don't offer anymore. Because since I created my coaching programs, that's usually what I provide. But I've gotten numerous texts, calls, direct messages, and then I was just out, and my old best friend was like, so I'm going to need a consultation on this. And I was like, okay. So it's taking up a lot of my time and a lot of my energy. So I am now going to be offering 60-minute Unleashed coaching sessions on a variety of topics, from Unleash My Confidence to, Unleash My Book, to Unleash my God-given calling. And they're 60 minutes. This is for people who want a lasered and focused 60-minute session. That means maybe you don't want to do powerfully position when you're like, I don't have 8 weeks, or I can't pay that price right now, but I can talk to you for 60 minutes and I can get everything. I can get as much as I can. Boom, boom, boom. I have unleashed my TED Talk. If that's something, I have got a lot of those inquiries. A lot of people are coming to me about book writing. A lot of people about the emotions, right? Like, how do I handle this? What do I do? A lot of people are like, I don't understand men. So I have unleashed my men magnetism. So again, they're 60 minutes. They're $97. Right? And if you go to bit.ly/unleashed you can see the offerings that's on there. I also have unleashed my social media strategy, unleashed my event marketing. Because a lot of people, because I have been taking over social media for an organization I'm in, and now everybody was like, can you help me with this, can you help me with that? Look, I don't got time to be everybody's everything. Okay, I got to be focused so I can be free. Okay, right? So anyway, I'm now offering those 60-minute sessions, but they're super focused. So if you go to bit.ly/unleashed, if there's something on there that resonates with you, something that you want to work on, something you've been thinking about, please feel free to sign up. As of now, I only plan to do it over the summer. And if it goes well, I know I just had one the other day, but if it goes well, then I will continue it. But it's just a pop-up service that I'm adding in for the summer months, since I have a little bit more free time, even though my schedule is like pretty much like my July is like packed day in and day out. It's like 20 things per day. But that's why, again, I have to limit and focus on what it is that I provide. But if you see something there, like if the emotion thing is something that's really something you want to work on, then I would encourage you to sign up for the Unleash My Confidence session, so that we can work through this a little bit more and I can get a little bit more insight into your particular situation, so I can tell you how you can get freed up a little bit more specifically based on what it is that you bring to the table about what's going on in your life and where it is that you want to go. But make sure when we get on the phone, I best believe I'm going to ask you why. Why is this important to you? How do you want to feel? What are those agreements, right? I'm going to take you through that process. So be prepared and be ready. All right. So I hope that you have enjoyed. About to go ahead over to Instagram. If you don't follow me over there, please do. At Unleash Fierce. Please follow me on YouTube, bit.ly/FierceTV. Sign up for a session if you feel like there's something on there that resonates, that you absolutely need support with, and that you've been thinking about. I look forward to connecting with you all one-on-one, and I love you. Bye.